I wanted to try to convince people to give Requiem a try. There's a lot of things written and a lot of things said in YouTube videos about how hard Requiem is. Requiem is not hard. It's challenging, but it's really fun and it's a great game to play. There are a couple things, though, you have to know about Requiem to be successful and to give yourself, well, any chance at all. Requiem is unforgiving, and making mistakes usually ends up in you dying. But there are things you can do to make Requiem easy, and I'm going to show you some of those now. I just started the Dawn Guard quest line, and here's Serana. So I'm in my Lakeview home. I just picked up, for the first time ever, an armored troll. So very excited about that. I can't wait to see how he works out. Have some storage containers, pretty standard, where I keep my stuff, and the armory. The armory is where you will keep your weapons and armor, and you're going to have a lot of sets of armor because you're going to need different armor for different purposes, and you're going to need lots and lots of weapons. You can't go through with just one. Here's the greenhouse. I have 3 greenhouses in my 3 Hearthfire homes, and that provides a real steady stream of alchemy ingredients. You need someone to help you carry stuff. That's the first follower I had, and he carries things. There's the spouse, who provides the lover's comfort bonus to learning. There's the housecarl.
I am your sword and your shield.
Earthguard is around here somewhere. She was my second follower, and she's the steward of the house. And there's a little girl running around here somewhere, and she probably has a pet now. Okay, the things you need to make life easier. When you first start, cook some potatoes for health because you don't have any health regen, and then move on to, as soon as possible, making beef stew, bestial stew, and elsewhere fondue. These 3 soups provide a huge boost to health, magicka, and stamina. And you don't have any health regen at the beginning, and your health is very low, and your stamina regen is very low. And you start with no magicka if you're most races. And if you're Khajiit, you have a magicka penalty. So these 3 things really give you a chance every day to increase your stats and have a greater chance of survival. Every single day that you leave a hold, pop these 3 soups. And they're easy to make, easy to build up an inventory of them. And here they are, just in the inventory, ready to go. You can see what they do. And the homemade meal is also nice to have as well. So here you can see the effect. They boost everything nicely. And here they are in the powers. You can see the other powers I've picked up as well. There are an awful lot of in-game buffs that you pick up by doing quests in Requiem. And there are a lot of quest items. Unlike Skyrim, where you get a whole bunch of quest items and they're all worthless. Well, most of them are pretty weak. In Requiem, you get a whole bunch of quest items that are very powerful. And you'll notice my stamina is very high. For Requiem, it's very high. And the reason is the Ring of Namira, which gives me 250 stamina. And that's a lot of stamina in Requiem. And it pretty much makes all my stamina concerns disappear. Between that, the soup, and, you know, the other things that I have going, the enchants that I have, pretty much I'm done. I'm good for stamina. Now here's the second thing you need. This is the Bestiary of Skyrim. And it's there's a copy in Helgen for those of you who still start in Helgen. But if you don't start in Helgen, like I don't, you can pick one up anywhere. They're all over the place. And this tells you what works against opponents and what doesn't work. And it tells you, for example, that mammoths, arrows don't work. And also they have enormous health. They take enormous damage. Mud crabs, you need a mace or a crossbow against them, and there is a giant mud crab in Requiem. Slaughterfish, fireballs, but there are giant slaughterfish, and fireballs don't seem to work very well. The Wabbajack does. The Wabbajack works great. Yeah, Dwarven Centurions, the only thing that works are blunt weapons, and shock. Vampires, the only thing that works is, well, I found a war axe. Swords aren't good because a lot of them wear ebony armor. You need a war axe enchanted with fire. The only enchant that works on them seems to be fire. Interesting enough, Serana does not use fire, so she's pretty worthless in fighting vampires. She would be great, I guess, fighting, well, anyway, she's not really valuable as a fighter. She's good company, though. So anyway, you have to read this book, and you have to understand what works and what doesn't. If you're not doing any damage to an opponent, you're probably using the wrong weapon and the wrong enchant. And in Requiem, you do that, you don't do any damage. You have to go get the right weapon and the right enchant and probably the right alchemy. Without those, you're gonna die. So here's my weapon that I'm using in the Dawnguard questline almost exclusively, and it's a, you know, it's a fire axe. Well, you can see what it is. It's a war axe enchanted with fire, and it's and I have my armor enchanted to increase my one-handed ability, and it does pretty good damage with a potion. But the fire is what seems to really tear the vampires up. You have to power attack bosses that are wearing ebony armor with a war axe to be able to penetrate that armor, but once you do, they go down fast. The fire just seems to light them up, and you one or two hit even the most powerful vampire bosses. If you're fighting high-level vampire bosses and you're not able to inflict damage on them, you're probably using the wrong weapon and the wrong enchant. I found swords just are pretty useless in mid-game and late game. They just don't penetrate armor. So anyway, I'm just scrolling through my, where I am on my skill trees. I try to get through, I try to get things to 100 so I can move perks around. That's one of the things that you can do in Requiem, is just get to 100 and then move perks in and out of where you need them. Anyway, I hope you find these things useful. I hope the ideas about using food is helpful. I know that the soups will be beneficial throughout the game, but particularly in the beginning part of the game, they're just absolutely invaluable. I don't think it's possible to play Requiem without reading Bestiary of Skyrim. The mod authors put it in there to give you a chance, so you wouldn't have to just experiment blindly, I think. And if you're having problems against certain opponents, it's probably going to be traceable to using the wrong weapon and the wrong enchant. If you use the right weapon and the right enchant, I think you're going to find that you're going to be very successful against every opponent that you face. So I hope you find this helpful, and I hope this makes your game of Requiem more enjoyable. Thanks.